Hi, guys. So, last week was an exciting week for librarians and authors and booksellers. Every January, there's always a day where there's important book awards that are announced by the American Library Association. You might have heard of the Newbery Award before. Here's an example of this gold Newbery Award on this book, The Tale of Despereaux. This one way back in 2004, I believe. But the Newbery is an award given to a book that was published in the previous year for a book that they decide is the most distinguished book that was published in children's literature for that year. So it's a really big honor for the authors to win that. And there's actually a ton of other awards too. There's an award for illustrations called the Caldecott. Here's an example of a Caldecott honor. For all the awards, there's usually honors that are silver. And there's awards for nonfiction, there's awards for early readers and young adult books and nonfiction and books written by Asian Americans and a bunch of different categories. But the Newbery is definitely one of the most famous. And this year there was one Newbery winner, as always, and then there was 5 honors named. And I thought I'd share a few of them with you that you might be interested in. So one of the Newbery honors was We Dream of Space by Erin Entrada Kelly. She also wrote Hello Universe and You Go First. I think some of you have heard of those. But in We Dream of Space, that's about Cash, Fitch, and Bird Thomas. They're 3 siblings in 7th grade together in Delaware, and it's 1986. The country is waiting for the launch of the space shuttle called Challenger. And the 3 siblings also are all having their own kind of issues. Cash loves basketball, but has broken his wrist, and he's in danger of failing 7th grade for the 2nd time. Fitch spends every afternoon playing a video game at the arcade. That's what he's really into. And Bird, his 12-year-old twin sister, dreams of being NASA's first female shuttle commander. And as the launch of the Challenger approaches, one of their teachers gives her students a project, and they have to act like they are in a spaceship crew and create a mission. A little bit of a spoiler alert because I don't want you to be too surprised, but the Challenger was a real event in history, and there was an explosion. So it's kind of like about how they all are dealing with that because all the astronauts did not survive that. But it's a very interesting book. And then another book that won an honor is called A Wish in the Dark. I really loved this book. It's by Christina Soontornvat, and it's a fantasy. There's this world where all the light in this city is created by one man, the governor. And everybody knows that he's a wonderful person who appeared after this disaster called the Great Fire a long time ago to help bring peace and order to the city. But there's a bunch of children who are in this prison called Namwan Prison, and they are there because their parent had done something wrong. So the children are in prison because of their parent. But for them, the magical lights represent freedom. And there's a boy named Pong who dreams of the day he'll be able to be free. But he actually gets a chance to escape and goes on all of these kind of adventures, but he has a tattoo on his arm that marks him as a fugitive who can never be truly free. And then there's a girl named Nock, who is the prison warden's daughter, who knows that Pong is still out there somewhere and wants to track him down. It's kind of in a world that is similar to like Thailand or East Asia somewhere. So it's a really interesting story. Then, interestingly, one of the other Newbery honors is this book, All 13, The Incredible Cave Rescue of the Thai Boys Soccer Team by the same author as the A Wish in the Dark, Christina Soontornvat. And this one actually won a couple of different awards. My copy doesn't have the award stickers on it yet because it was published before those came out. I haven't read this one yet, but this one is nonfiction, perhaps obviously, but you might have heard about those boys that were trapped in a cave in northern Thailand. They were a soccer team, and it took 17 days for them to get rescued. So there's pictures, and it just gets into all kinds of details about what happened. So if you are interested in an adventure story and a true story of rescue, you might like this one. And then the actual Newbery winner, so we'll get the gold sticker on it, the gold medal, is called When You Trap a Tiger. I haven't read this one yet, but it's a fantasy that kind of has to do with Korean folk tales. When Lily and her family move in with her sick grandmother, a magical tiger straight out of Korean folktales arrive, prompting Lily to unravel a secret family history. So long, long ago, the story goes, Halmoni, which is the grandmother, stole something from the tigers and now they want it back. And when one of the tigers approaches Lily with a deal, return what her grandmother stole in exchange for Halmoni's health, Lily is tempted to agree. But deals with tigers are never what they seem. With the help of her sister and her new friend Ricky, Lily must find her voice and the courage to face a tiger. And then I'm going to tell you about one more. This book is called Before the Ever After by Jacqueline Woodson, and it won an award called the Coretta Scott King Book Award. Coretta Scott King was Martin Luther King Jr.'s wife, and the award, named after her, recognizes an African-American author of an outstanding book for children. Oh, and the author also wrote Brown Girl Dreaming, which won a bunch of awards itself. And this book reminds me of the books by Kwame Alexander, the crossover series, because it's a free verse poetry book like this, but it's about sports, and it's a pretty contemporary story. It takes place in around the 2000s, and it's about a boy whose dad is a pro football player, but he is experiencing some health issues because of how many times he's been knocked down and how many concussions he's had playing football. So it is a little bit sad, but it's a quick read and it's kind of a really nice story. Although, yes, a little bit sad, but like nothing horrible happens. Anyway, I really enjoyed it, and I think lots of you guys might like it too. So all the books I mentioned today are either already in the library or are going to be added to the library. All 13 and Before the Ever After will be added. So if you want any of those to check out, you can request them in Atrium, or for these two, you can just send me an email and we can send it to you when it's ready. I hope you have a great week.